This is the Cameron Brown Show, hosted by Cameron Brown.
Yay! Woo!
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, starting something new. Here we go. And this is my really good friend, Dom. And do you want to go by Dom or Dominique or Dominique Sottile or?
Let's just go by Dom.
Dom.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, Dom, thanks for joining me today on my first podcast. And
are we going to cheers?
Your first podcast too?
No, I've been on a podcast.
Yeah, so
I actually
Dom's...
have my own podcast.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Dom's famous.
No.
And I'm not. Hence the reason this is my first podcast.
You're doing great.
Well, actually, this is my second podcast.
Oh.
Yeah, I've done one.
Lied.
Other.
So he's a
I have done one
liar.
other. That's true. So good way to start the podcast is by saying I'm a liar. Awesome.
We're proud of you. This is very exciting. I'm happy to be here in all seriousness.
Really glad to have you here. So, Dom, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Really appreciate you joining me. We're going to cover a lot of things tonight.
I'm excited.
And I honestly don't know where this is going to go. It's going to be a bit
Neither do
unscripted. And I think we're just going to kind of go for it and send it, if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
So to start, let's get a little bit of background on you.
Okay.
Where are you from? Why are you in Charleston, South Carolina now? And what does the future hold for Dom?
I like that.
Good start.
Okay, so to go back to what Cam said is, what if it doesn't work out? Being in Charleston, South Carolina was never something that I ever wanted to do. I never wanted to be here. But obviously something didn't work out that I ended up here. So sometimes things have to not work out in order to become who you are and where you end up being. But a little background, I am from a small town called Simsbury in Connecticut. Let's go back when I was going to go to college to be a physical therapist, and I tore my ACL, my MCL, and my meniscus. I had surgery. Surgery didn't work.
All the above?
All the above.
And how did you do that?
I literally was playing Frisbee in a backyard. So doing the basics of basics, I just moved my leg the wrong way, tore everything. Had surgery. Surgery didn't work. Then I ended up going to physical therapy, and I hated it. So then I was like, I'm not going to school to be a physical therapist. So that was the first thing that didn't end up working out. I was supposed to, go to school far away. I had to end up commuting because I was on crutches. So that was another thing that didn't work out.
What kind of car were you driving at that time? Just out of curiosity.
Suburban.
A Suburban?
I had a Suburban.
How big was, this is a random question, how big was the gas tank? Do you know that?
I have no idea.
Because I drove a 95 Suburban in high school.
Old. It was older than that.
43-gallon tank. Yeah. 9 miles to the gallon. I don't know how bad yours was, but mine was awful.
Mine was really bad. I felt like every day I was just
filling it up. Yeah, great starting point.
Yeah. I had a Suburban. Then I had a Buick.
Okay.
And it was older than the Suburban.
What year?
It was like 1960.
Oh, 1960.
Yeah, it was really old.
So,
like people would call me grandma. So,
did you get it from Cuba or like?
No, I literally got it from like an 80-year-old woman who was selling her car.
That's awesome.
So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
I don't remember what I was saying.
You were talking about the car you were driving. Yes. At that time.
Yeah, I just ended up having surgery, and then I was really into cheerleading then and like running, and my doctor just said, you're never going to be able to run again. You're never going to be able to do the things that you were doing before, like being thrown in the air and doing flips. And that's when I started going to the gym, because I just laughed at the doctor. I was like, I'm not going to let you put a limit on me. So that is how I got into going to the gym and just like wanting to build a strong body. But there were months that I would go to the gym and I couldn't even do like a full range of motion on the bike. Like my leg would just, it wouldn't get it. Like it wouldn't go. I was just like stuck on the bike for like 10 minutes. I gave up like here and there all the time, saying like, F this, like it doesn't matter. I'm not going to do this. And one day I just said, you're either going to become what the doctor said and like let this limit you, or you need to push past it and just like suck it up.
So we're going really deep, really quick, I feel like. So, and this is fantastic.
I feel like just if you ask me a question, I'm just going to
Which is perfect.
From the layers.
And one of the things I've always appreciated about you is like the authenticity, right? You're going to provide it regardless of
if you ask.
If the person wants it or doesn't want it. It doesn't matter. We're going to get it. Here we go.
Yeah.
This is who I am as a person, which is awesome. And so just kind of like diving into that, what was that turning point for you?
I mean, for me, it was just like crying every day and wondering when I would have my body back. And it was like a dark, negative place where I had to say, you either become this dark, negative person who doesn't care about her health anymore, or you flip a switch and you're grateful for what you have and like go be a success story to someone else out there. And that was like my turning point, because it was either I'm going to end out like depression, like it was going to be something completely different if I wasn't just like, stop playing the victim. It happened. You've already had surgery twice. Just get up and fight for it. And that's when I was just like, I'll go every day. And then within like 3 weeks, I could finally do the bike. So
cool. So I'm sure people will find out pretty quickly that your brand is Let's Dominate. At what point did you decide to start Let's Dominate, or at what point did it turn into like Let's Dominate as a brand?
So Let's Dominate actually happened before I tore my ACL.
Okay.
I was a Zumba instructor at age 16.
See, I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, that's how I started.
That's cool.
Me and the 80-year-old moms, we would jam out. My room was packed with the 70 and 80-year-olds. Cool. And they were always like, I can't move like you, but I like your energy, so I'm coming to your class. As I would scream at them to get lower. And they were like, honey, I don't go lower, I just stand.
My mom actually teaches like similar classes.
Really?
Well, water aerobics.
I love that. Where? Go check her out.
In Greer, South Carolina, in their neighborhood, which I won't give the specific neighborhood.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little creepy.
Yes, let's not do that.
On the internet. but yeah, she's been teaching water aerobics for a few years now.
That's awesome.
Basically during the summer months, whenever she wasn't teaching, she'd teach water aerobics. So they're kind of the same thing, though.
Yeah.
She enjoys working with older individuals and helping them to become better, just across the board.
Yeah.
Really enjoys it.
That's awesome. I love that. What's your mom's name?
It's sensitive information.
Okay, never mind. I was going to say go Cameron Brown's mom. Thanks for making a difference.
Thanks, Mom. We love you. Julie.
Yeah, I was a Zumba instructor. I would just take the bus there, but I started Let's Dominate Instagram just to tell everyone where I'd be teaching, because I was working at multiple gyms in the area. And that was really why I made it to post in my story. I'm teaching this class this day at this gym. And I didn't think anything about it. I literally just came up with Let's Dominate, created the Instagram. I was like, this is just going to be to post where I am teaching the class. I had no intentions on any of this happening.
So how long did you spend coming up with Let's Dominate? If you were a new business owner, you were thinking of a new name.
It was literally like 5 minutes. I'm not even kidding. I was like, what has my name in it? I was like, Let's Dominate. It was first going to be like Dominate Fitness. Then I was like, I don't like that. And then...
Let's Dominate rings, right? And I just, we're not gonna. Anyways, funny moment.
Say it.
No, there's nothing fun. It's funny that you came up with it in 5 minutes and then actually stuck with it. Where I feel like a lot of people will sit around and be like, what should my brand be? What should my brand guidelines look like?
I think for me
what kind of font should I use?
I wasn't thinking of a brand. I was just like, what's a catchy Instagram handle?
Yep.
Like at that point, I had no intentions on it being a business. So I was just like, oh, it has my name in it. So they could refer this to me. That's Dom. Let's Dominate.
Yeah.
Which is crazy how full circle it is now.
So let's go there real quick.
Okay.
So from Let's Dominate in its early season to now, when it comes to building a brand, and I don't really want to get into like the brand building aspect of this really, but I really do want to get into the work that goes into it more so. Because once again, a lot of people will put together the colors, they'll create a logo, they'll pick a font, and they'll hope and pray that it works. So let's get past the hoping and the praying, and I honestly just want to know kind of about the years of work that you put into it.
Yeah.
What does that process look like to get it to where it is now?
So I would just say many years of failing, or as I thought was failing, for 5 years, posting consistently, directing them to things that they could buy, and giving, free information and free knowledge. And for many years, I didn't believe that it was something that I could do, so I didn't fully invest in it yet. I was still working for 4 different gyms, but when I would come home, I would create videos of me working out and why it's important to take care of yourself. But I didn't really know the marketing side of it. I just was posting as I would post, and it wasn't so much educational as it was I felt like I looked good. And I think the second that I switched that to, it's not about posting my body, but it's about posting what I'm passionate about and how to really change people's lives is when I started to realize that it doesn't matter about what I look like, how many followers that I have. It matters the heart and the passion and the information that you can give people. So I switched my whole brand to just like wanting to look a certain way to wanting to feel good and wanting to help other people feel good. But it was like so many years of me trying something and it didn't work. And try another thing, maybe 7 people signed up, and I was so happy for those 7 people, but thinking in my head, I can't make a living off of an income from 7 people, especially with the $30 program. It didn't get me far. So I had to figure out ways of how to hustle while also creating these things. So it wasn't until COVID hit that I told everyone that I was going to live stream for free. And everyone's home. They have nothing to do. So I was just going on Instagram saying, tune in for free. And the first day I had like 170 people tune in for a workout. And the next thing you know is when I was like, people want this. This is what I'm going to do.
So you realized at that point, is that kind of like your turning point, you think, in your business? Okay.
So once COVID hit, that's when I was like, I'm not going back to another place. This is going to take off and I know it and I'm going to like do it right now. So during COVID was the busiest season of my life. That's when I had clients, people were coming to me, people were home, and they needed love and affection. And they found that through my live stream videos. They would tune in, I'd be like, what's up, bitches? What's going on? I missed you when I've never even seen them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Then they're all chatting to me. We created a group chat and they're chatting with each other. And it was just a community that was for free. So then is when I was like, people would buy this. I like charged 8 weeks, $35. People are buying it. So all during COVID, when one challenge closed, another one would start. And people just kept coming back. And those people that did those challenges are still people that are with me today.
So this isn't like necessarily a motivation and or a success and or a business podcast. This is just like a general podcast on like who you are as an individual and also what you've built. Yeah. And so I'm not saying that to move away from this topic whatsoever. I'm more so trying to like dive deeper into, you know, why we do what we do, right? Yeah. Why do you do this in the first place? And just to like kind of get into that side of it and the information that people are maybe looking for past business, because there's a lot of business information out there, right? Yeah. A lot of people will say, hey, do this or do that and you'll be successful. At no point do I think that you've ever said that to people. It's more so, hey, put in the work, and ultimately grind and put out what you want to get out of this, and ultimately you will succeed. So what is kind of that message to people now, and especially to how you work with a lot of women, majority women? What is kind of like that main message that you push to them and to help them get up and get going the other day?
I have girls that work the night shift, and once they're off, they go right to the gym. And the second that I saw that someone like that wouldn't give an excuse, why are you giving an excuse? I've seen people that just went through chemo and they're working out now because I've given them the tools that they need. I've seen people that have left an abusive relationship just by me saying, you deserve better. And until you decide that for yourself, you're not going to find better. And even just saying that, meaning like the gym and exercising and putting yourself first, they got out of that. I've seen people in really negative situations change their whole life around. And that is why I do what I do. Because you could be in a season of life where you think that you're going to lose your life, where you don't have your health anymore, and you feel like you're drowning. And all you need sometime is love and someone to care about you. I think the more that you care about people and you remind them how much you care about them and that you would do anything for them, I say that to my clients all the time. You need to call me at this time because something happened, then do it. It's not so much as me coaching them, but me telling them how much that I love them. And I do think about, I do love every single person that I meet because I think that we all just need a little more love. And when people say to me all the time, how are you successful? How are you doing what is different? Because I invest back the way that they invest in me. It's not just about nutrition and exercise. It's about community. When you're failing, how can you stand back up? And instead of putting someone down because they have failed, recognize that I have failed. You have failed. All of us have. So to remind people it's okay to be a human. But at the end of the day, my message is you have to fight for the life you want because people are always going to put a limit on you. People are always going to tell you that you can't. People are always going to tell you that you're not good enough or you have to look a certain way and act a certain way. regardless of what other people say, if you're passionate about something and you believe it, you have to go after and chase it. Because I could say to someone, you're never going to get anywhere and your health is just declining and your hormones are all out of whack and you're never going to be successful. They could take that and live with it. Or they could say, whatever you have said is going through one ear out the other. I'm going to get up and fight for my life. That was a lot.
I love it.
I'm sorry.
That was great.
I feel like I'm talking too much.
These are going to be...
Can we talk about Cam?
That's going to be great for Instagram, by the way. Those clips are going to be
great.
No, we talked about community. So community is huge in building any business, and in our brand. And I feel like a lot of people don't spend enough time building the community.
Yeah.
When you really you build that authentic connection with people from the very beginning. Once again, you can see it with what you've built. And I'm in the group chat.
Yeah.
I don't really chat much.
You don't.
A lot of the women,
but they like you, so you should chat to them.
But a lot of the women in the group chat, they're like the once again, the relationship that you have without even, frankly, having to communicate with them that has been built over the years is huge. And I think that's a lesson a lot of people can take into whatever they're doing and building next.
Yeah.
Is think about not just your reason for doing it, but think about the reason that you're doing it and connecting it with other people and why other people are going to benefit from what you're providing. Service, product, whatever it is. But in life, why are we doing this thing and how do other people benefit from it? Because when they do benefit from it and they genuinely benefit from it, ultimately the return that you get as the owner of that is incredible. Huge.
Yeah. I've seen girls that sign up and they live in the same area and then now they're like working out together just through the group chat. So that is definitely something that is really important, is just having a community, because I don't have the time of day to be talking in a group chat. I just don't. There's other priorities that I have. So the fact that the community, they can all talk to each other, it's perfect. So love that about community.
So in regards to some of the other products you've listed and launched too as of late, let's kind of talk to the macro calculator.
Okay.
Just briefly. How did you start? So you've obviously built this business now. You have clients and you're like, hey, I want to start launching some other things. Mm-hmm. You had this idea to help people in tracking their macros.
Yep.
And then it kind of turned into more of like a meal plan generator from there. Mm-hmm. And then you kind of combined the two of them.
Yep.
So just talk through that process a little bit.
Okay. So how I started blowing up on TikTok was to give out all the calculations to how to track your macros. Basically multiply
value.
Yep. Yes. And then people started commenting and saying, this is too complicated. I don't want to do the math. Can you give me a product? And so I've been thinking about it for 3 months and I'm like, okay, how do I find someone that could make me this product? And turns out, because one thing didn't work out, I ended up in Charleston and I found someone that could help me make that product.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
Where were you before?
I was in Fort Myers, Florida.
Yeah.
I went from Connecticut to Fort Myers, and I remember saying, I will never go more north than Fort Myers, Florida.
Here we are.
And here we are. And I'm set here.
This is not at all the north, though. But
it feels like the north compared to Fort Myers.
Okay. Maybe
still a little chilly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lived in Fort Myers for a year. I was about to renew my lease, and then the hurricane hit and destroyed just all of Fort Myers. Like, it was so just devastating. And my sister just brought up the idea of moving to Charleston. And I was so just like, whatever at that point, that I said, if I hate it, I'll go back in a year. And I just packed all my stuff and 2 weeks later moved to Charleston. So there's always a plan for you, even when you can't see it, because look where I am right now. Had I never moved here, I don't know if any of this would have happened.
So I'm not sure if you would consider like a failure, but a decision to move, was it a gut feeling? Was that you just needed a change of location?
I needed a change of location. Okay. I was in Connecticut for so long and I wasn't feeling inspired, especially with the people around me. And I just wanted to change, and I've always just wanted to live in the sunshine because I like being outside. I like being active. So I said one day I was just like, I'm getting up and moving to Fort Myers. That's it. And it was like the best thing I ever did. Cool. So yeah, it was just a decision that I made and then I acted on it.
Good for you.
Thanks.
and now here we are in Charleston.
Yep. Charleston.
What's your experience been like in Charleston thus far?
I think Charleston is incredible. It is very like hungry here. People are hungry here, very motivated here. A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people going after their dreams. The only thing that I miss is the parking lots. Why do you guys not have parking lots here? Why do I have to pay every single day? I already pay $7 for Starbucks. Why have to pay another $1 to run in, get it, and then come back?
I think it's also changing everywhere too, though, right? Like, but why do
it's not like that in Connecticut.
Why do we have to pay for every single parking spot?
You tell me, Cam.
I don't know, but I feel like there's a politician out there that we should speak
like
with
it.
that should help us.
Please help.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend
getting a bit
another
ridiculous.
$1 to just park to go into a place for 5 seconds and come out. So that's
true.
the thing I miss about Connecticut.
They're either paying for them and or they're flooded.
Yes. Yeah. The flooding here is so bad. Like puddles and puddles. It would be taller than you
This
if
was
you
like
tried
a
to walk
this was like
in
a
it.
come to Charleston conversation. Now it's like a don't come to
Now
Charleston.
it's like, don't come here.
Are we
you don't
reversing
wanna
that
be here.
because we're full or?
No, in all seriousness, I love Charleston. The only thing that I wish was different was that it was hotter and warmer year round because that's what I love. But
What about the humidity
that doesn't bother me.
at all?
No,
Okay.
that doesn't bother me at all.
Okay.
It could be humid, 100 degrees. I'll still be running outside. Like I have no idea what it is, but I thrive in the heat, in the humidity, in the sun. Like put me out there, I'm fine for days.
That's good for you.
Yeah.
That's great for
Yeah.
you.
So if I'm ever lost, I'm probably just in the sun somewhere.
So what is it? So speaking of like the spending time in the sun and enjoying the humidity, I've never heard anybody say that, but that's good for you.
I'm the first.
That's good for you. What does a day in the life look like for you now? Now that things are, I say ramped up.
Yeah.
Now that things are where they are with business, life, relationships, everything else going on, what does a day in the life look like?
So surprisingly, things are manageable, which I never thought I'd be able to say that. And manageable to a point where I actually have some freedom. Like I'm here recording a podcast.
Let's go.
But there would be times where it's like a 14-hour workday. And I mean like 14 hours sitting at the screen. But now it's more so like I plan out my schedule. So this many hours I'm working on this many hours for my clients. This is for developing new programs. This is for the gym. This is for content after the gym. This is editing that. This is meal prepping. So it's really very structured now versus before it was chaos. So running a business is chaos. There were days where I had no idea.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be. However, I feel like it picked up so quickly that I had no idea how to manage it. Yeah. And it came to a point where I was breaking and I said, you need to slow down and you need to manage this or else you are not going to be as successful as you could be.
So that was my question. When it got to that breaking point, because whenever somebody is scaling a business or scaling something in general, there come these times, these breaking points in which some people crumble and others flourish and continue on. What would you maybe tell somebody who's going through that right now, who is crumbling and is trying to figure out how to get to that next level?
So one thing that really stuck with me is if people truly want your product or want what you're selling, it is okay for them to wait another day or a couple of days. Because if it is affecting you and your mental health, how good can it be to give someone when you're not in a good state?
Great point.
So I remember when I had I first of all had no idea that this was going to happen, but I had 50 people sign up for coaching in one night. And I was like, how am I going to get 50 meal plans out in one day? So I was crumbling. I was crying. I was like, I'm successful for the first time in my life, but I can't manage this. And I also didn't know that I should put a limit on something because it wasn't blowing up. And so I had to reach out to them and say, I have such a high volume of new clients. I'm not going to be able to get to you for a week. And I thought that was going to people were going to ask me for their money back. And they're like, great. I'm so excited to work with you. Can't wait to hear from you. And that's when I knew that if people care about you and who you are and what you believe in, then it's important that you take care of yourself. Right. So
you can't run your business unless your health is number one priority. And
it took me a while to truly do understand that. That's why now I actually have some balance and I after 5 o'clock, I'm pretty much cut off.
Cool.
So
this is a relaxed time right now.
I've never been so chill before, which is so weird. This is weird for me, but I love it.
It's great.
And I think about all the projects that I have coming up and I say to myself, I'm going to do these projects and still be this chilled and relaxed because I'm not going to look back in 10 years and be like, I don't even remember the last 10 years.
So do you think you're getting more done in more of a relaxed state?
No, but I think I've set myself up that a lot of work is done, that I can take my time now because I have all the products out that people need while designing the new products.
And think more methodically maybe about the future?
Yeah.
And the development of the business and everything else?
Yeah.
So outside of work, because we could go on there for hours.
Run.
Gym, run, Hyrox.
What do I do? Those are the three things. Which actually, maybe we should let you start talking. Cam and I competed in a Hyrox together.
Start talking. I've been talking the entire time.
And then, like, tell us more about you. It is your show.
No, well, I'm here to interview you. But yeah, that is a good point to bring up.
How did that even start?
Hyrox?
Yeah.
Whenever you came into town, we were introduced to each other by a mutual friend.
Yeah.
And then,
I
frankly,
think we started working out together. We were on the Stairmaster, like probably doing some challenge because we always have to compete every time.
probably competing and doing something crazy like that. And ultimately, you had just signed up, I believe, for the first Hyrox.
Yeah, for
and we were
June,
kind
I
of talking
think.
through, and I was like, "This is crazy. This woman is wild." And there's no way that I would ever do one of those things.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I saw you compete in, and had some other friends that competed in Hyrox, and I was like, "Okay, this is kind of cool."
Yeah.
So let's
And we
do one.
jokingly were like looking up the schedule, but there wasn't any in our area.
No, jokingly, we were going to sign up for Miami, and then they canceled Miami.
They canceled Miami. That's
And
why
the
we
next
went
one
to
on the
Dubai.
list was Dubai, and
No, it was Dubai and Australia.
Australia.
Okay, so Cam was looking up the flights to Dubai, and I was looking up the flights to Australia, and we saw that Dubai was like $2,000 cheaper. So we're like, full send to Dubai.
I was like, yeah, we're going to Dubai. So,
Yeah.
which is kind of wild looking back on
But
it.
it was a joke at first. Like, we were like, should we go to Dubai? And then we were both like, no. And then I thought about it all day. Then Cam texted me that night and was like, we're going to Dubai. And I was like, yeah, let's book our tickets.
Yep. So the next day at Starbucks, booking tickets
Literally.
to Dubai.
Yeah.
Kind of full sending it. Which I think there's a lot of people right now that are, when you think about like doing something and you're trying to figure out if it's the right fit or if it's the right time for you or the right move at this point in life, a lot of people just stop.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, why did we decide just to full send? And
That
frankly,
was-
I love to travel.
Yeah.
I know you like to travel. We all like to travel. But at the end of the day, it was like, we're going to do something hard in another country. Let's just
That's
full
such
send.
an
Let's just do
opportunity.
it. Let's
Yeah.
have such an
That is
opportunity to grow personally as well.
That's like the first time I ever was like, let's leave the country to go do this. And I would do it 1,000 times again. That was the first time that I was like, let's full send.
And so you and Richard spent a full week,
Yep.
and I spent 4 or 5 days
Yeah.
in Dubai, which was fantastic. But you and Richard spent a full week and a half
Yeah.
traversing the desert
It was awesome.
and loved every bit of it.
And yeah, that was quite the opportunity. I never would have done that if it wasn't for this.
So what was your favorite part about Dubai?
My favorite part
And you can't
about
say Hyrox because that's
definitely being in the desert and like riding ATVs and the camels, and then just like being on the sand and seeing like live camels.
super cool.
That was so awesome.
So
What about
camel or
you?
ATV? Camel or ATV?
Camel.
Okay, why?
I don't know, because it was like an animal. I love animals. I also felt like Richard was going to flip me on the ATV. So, and I also felt like the camel wanted to chuck me off of it. So I honestly can't tell you that answer.
More complex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What was my favorite part? I really liked the bird. So I'm not gonna say that I'm ever gonna be sponsored by LaCroix, but if I ever were to be sponsored by any
You
drink,
never know.
it'd be LaCroix.
Okay.
So
Good to know.
let's go LaCroix.
Hey, LaCroix.
Supercar made
Hit
it
us up.
Hey LaCroix, hit us up. I want to be sponsored. Yo,
That was perfect. That would be a great ad.
would it be
Yeah.
LaCroix? Get down. That was awful. Okay,
I'll get down for LaCroix.
edit that out. Wow. My favorite
Please
part,
keep that in.
the Museum of the Future, and
That was, incredible.
the Burj Al Arab. The Burj Khalifa was super cool.
Yeah.
It's just really tall, and I mean it's obviously really nice. But
Yeah. It's
the
just
Burj
tall.
Al Arab, for like a quality perspective, is a must see. And the inside, which you can't film or you can't take pictures inside the lobby area. They have 2 massive aquariums on either side. You can see vertically throughout the entire building. I mean, just the intricacy in the design work and the architecture of the Burj Al
And
Arab
gold
is
everywhere.
everywhere.
Like,
Especially,
you open
like-
the toilet, there's gold in the toilet. And you're like,
Pretty sure the toilet,
toilet
that
is worth
Richard
more
waved his
than I.
hand at too was
Yeah.
a gold toilet.
yeah.
And it opened automatically. And
Yeah.
and then the
Gold coffee.
The gold coffee.
Yeah.
Had to. I'd say that was my favorite
How
drink.
much did you spend on the gold coffee?
We don't want to talk about it.
I don't remember. Was it $17?
It was too much.
$30
It was like,
for a little cup of
I'm
coffee.
pretty sure it was $50 for
And you
a
were
cup
like
of coffee.
sipping gold, and you had gold all over your lips.
It was gold everywhere.
Yeah.
Gold everywhere, which
That
I
was crazy
probably never had that
experience.
experience ever again.
No, I'm glad we did.
So super cool experience, and I know we've been talking a lot lately about another Hyrox, and that you've been talking a lot about another Hyrox.
Yeah.
I've been interested, and I went and did the marathon in December. I was like trying to figure out the next thing for me.
Well, first, because I know there's a lot of people that want to do their first Hyrox.
Yep.
What was your experience? Because everyone has heard mine. But what was your experience through Hyrox, through training, through actually doing it, and your feeling after? And did you feel like you wanted to die during it?
No,
Okay.
So I didn't feel like necessarily I wanted to die. I felt really prepared for it. I think the biggest issue was the jet lag. We talked about that a little bit. I would not travel so far to do a competition like that unless you have
especially because we didn't have a lot of time in between.
Correct.
We had one day for our bodies to get adjusted.
I do like a week or two of preparation.
We competed it would be 2 a.m. here.
Yeah.
We competed at 2 a.m.
We were not at all set up for success.
But I also slept 7 hours during the day before, and you didn't.
I did not.
So I can only imagine how you
That
felt.
is true. That is true. But I'd say aside from that, it was fantastic. We prepared. We trained really hard. We prepared very well in that regard. But now looking back on it, I realized a lot of the things I could have done differently.
Yeah.
I could have eaten better. I could have drank more water. I could have slept. I could have tried to sleep better, which is, I've never slept well, but I could have tried to have at least gotten better sleep.
Yeah.
Some more melatonin or something. But I think there are certain things I look back on now that I wish I would have done a little bit differently. But I think that's in preparation for anything in life, right?
Yeah.
You always look back on it and you always say, hey, I wish I could have done this or that better. But one thing I don't do is I never look back and say, I wish I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
A lot of these things, it's like,
that.
I'm just glad I did it.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure it's the same way for you, but you're like, I either do it or I don't. But I think I'm going to be more upset if I don't do it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to have that story. I'm not going to be able to tell people about, the experience of doing so. And you probably get this often. I know you get this all the time, but where people will literally say, oh, why are you doing this? Why do you keep training so hard? Why does it matter? It's like, it's because I feel good doing it.
Yeah.
It's not for you. It's for me. It feels good.
Yeah.
And there's a mental health benefit to this. There's a physical benefit to it. There's all the above to training for anything. It doesn't have to be Hyrox. And I think people, once again, it's kind of like the new big thing. And I'm sure you kind of feel the same way. Like you really enjoy it. But it's not the end all be all.
No.
Like, there's so many other things that people can be doing too. But it's just a matter of doing something.
Yeah.
And picking your thing and going for it.
Because I feel like for me personally, if I'm not training for something, I'm bored.
Yep.
There's no like drive and passion for me unless I have an end goal, which is a blessing and a curse sometimes. But I feel like I work harder and smarter when I know that I'm training for something.
Right.
And my intentions are there. I don't just go dilly-dally. I go to work hard because I want to accomplish something.
Right.
So
that's what you do outside of the work. And you go to the gym, you do Hyrox, you go to the beach.
I love the beach.
Okay.
I will be there every day.
Cool.
I got this thing you can put over your laptop.
You have a product that you want to drop on this video, on the show?
Actually, I'm pretty sure it's been sold out for like months.
Are you selling on your website or are you selling? Is this an Amazon
it's just an
product?
Amazon thing, but it's not back in stock. And everyone's like, where are you getting this? And I'm like, put it back in stock. I'm going to create my own.
You should.
You put it over your laptop and it doesn't overheat.
On to the next one.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Outside of work.
I gotta...
Umbrella Cow.
35. 30.
That's good.
Okay.
Are we still going?
Yeah, we're still going.
Okay.
So,
You going to switch it to something else now?
no, we're going to switch topics. Yeah, but we're going to...
That'd be great.
All right, we're gonna get back into that. All right, fantastic. So what's next? This is great. We can wrap up here shortly if you want.
Okay. What should be our
All right, so
finishing
as we're moving off of that topic, so your why. Here's a good one, and I really don't like this question at all.
Okay.
But I feel like I've got to ask it because I feel like it's a good one to ask you. So what is really the why behind all of the things that you do, work, life, etc., and what maybe keeps you going on a daily basis?
I feel like a couple minutes ago you're like, we're diving really deep, and then you've just been asking me deep questions.
Yeah. Here we go.
I think my why is because I've just seen so many negative people throughout my whole life, And I've always wondered why they chose a life like that until I started to get older and I understand because life happens and because there's a lot of mean and judgment and negative people out there. But I think my why is because I've seen so many people be like, you walk in a room and you're so happy that it makes me happy and it radiates happiness for me in my life. And I always say people aren't going to remember that girl that had passion and happiness over the person that was frowning and negative. And so what I want to do is make more people happy so that more people can experience more love. At the end of the day, that is truly what matters the most to me, is giving people a piece of me so that they can be color again. It's like black and white, and I want to switch that to being color. Like, have a good heart, inspire someone, do something for someone else. That means more to me. It's like so much more than just nutrition and exercise. It is, how can I change your whole life around so that it's a different perspective? And now you can go live the best life. Because I've seen girls come to me and they're like so negative and they hate themselves. Yeah. And they never want to go out and show their skin or anything, to now one of the most confident people that I've ever met. So it is changing our world to seeing that there are good people out there that will do good for you and that believe in you. Because you could hire any coach, but if that coach isn't giving you the love and care that you need, or just saying, you can do that and I'm going to show you that and I'm going to be there by your side. So my why is truly just because I want the world to be better. As like silly and cliche as that sounds, it's like there's so much black and white. I want people to be color. I want you to be excited about the life that you live. Like, you go every single day soaking in your misery and being unhappy in your skin when you could be a completely different person. And that's because I used to be that person. I used to be miserable in my skin. I wasn't happy with myself. I just had surgery. Like, my leg was this big because it didn't walk on it for 9 months. Like, I was so insecure and I almost went down the route of being depressed. And so I've been there. I've also not been confident in my decisions and the people that I was around, and I was around toxic people and negative people. And so I was a completely different person. I didn't smile. I didn't laugh. I wasn't like this. So if I can go from that to where I am now, and there's more people that can be like this, our world is just going to be a better place and more inspired.
So
that was very deep.
That was very deep. That was really good.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you're on social media every single day, and not to follow up with that, and that was a fantastic answer. But you're on social media every single day, and you're probably consumed by a lot of the other information, not just your own, right? Mm-hmm. There's probably other stuff that you see, not consumed by it, but you probably see a lot of other information on a daily basis. How do you, and especially in a world like ours with all the craziness that's going on, how do you steer clear of all the negativity and really only support yourself with positivity, once again, when there is all of this garbage online? So you say, once again, we can avoid toxic people on a daily basis in our personal lives. We can try our best to, at least. That can be difficult for people, depending upon their work situation, work environment, etc. But how do you work through all the negativity online when, as you know, I love current events, I love politics, I love everything that's going on geopolitically. A lot of that is very hard to ignore. And I think, frankly, a lot of us shouldn't ignore it. We should understand what's going on at a deep level. We should empathize with other individuals in other countries that are not near as well off as we are, near as blessed as we are to live in the country that we live in. But I feel like a lot of people are consumed by it, and overly consumed by it, and unable to get away from it. So how do you, on a daily basis, stay away from that? And maybe pull yourself away from that negativity online?
So it was hard at first, especially when all my videos are like me being positive and just giving free information. That in my head, I was like, what did I do wrong? How could someone come after me? And, this is like a person with maybe like over 1 million followers that created a video off of mine, and they were just like shit talking me the whole time. And he had over like 5,000 comments of everyone shitting on me too. And
do you want to say who that was more specifically?
I can't remember his name.
Doctor.
Oh, no. Oh, that one.
This is a different one.
This is a different one. This was before Dr. Phil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, I'll get into that in a second.
So the Dr.
That's
Phil
a good
story
one.
is a good one to tell.
Yeah, that is a good one. But no, it was just another online coach on TikTok, and he was just like, this girl is so annoying. Like, why do you scream in your videos? Like, just shut up. Like, just saying things that I was like, why? Like, that's my personality. It's not going to be for everyone. I know that I'm loud. But it's like, why are you making this video?
So it's okay to not be for everyone. So you're saying?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. But if I was very negative about it, let it consume me. And for a whole week, I was like, didn't want to post. I didn't want to use my voice anymore. And then that's when I said, someone else is always going to have something opposite of what you say. Someone else is always going to have a different opinion of what they say, even if you back it up with science. Someone is always going to find a way to pick on you, to tear you down. That's how they get their views. Yeah. That's how they make their money. And so that is the day that I decided, if you're going to do this, people are going to hate on you, and let them hate on you. Right. Because it doesn't change what you're doing to try to make a difference in the world. Now, going into Dr. Phil.
That's who I thought you were a friend.
That's
I was like, you're like that guy. I was like, you mean Dr. Phil?
Dr. Phil. I've been waiting to tell this story.
Have you not told the story yet?
Not really. I haven't fought my battle because I've been scared of him. But I'm like, I'm going to fight this battle.
I don't know that it's a battle you need to fight necessarily.
I don't think so. I think it just proves that how people with power will just abuse their power. Yeah. So I got an email. Do you still like
Dr. Phil?
No.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
This is great.
No.
Drama.
Not supporting after that, and I'll tell you why.
Full story.
I get an email one day, and it is from Dr. Phil's assistant that is asking me to use a clip of the macro calculations on the Dr. Phil show. I read it, I'm like, this is literally a scam. I'm not responding to this. Then I tell my friends about it. I tell Justin and Richard about it, and Justin's like, show me the email. So show him the email. He looks that girl up. He's like, this is his assistant. Like, This is real. And I was like, oh my gosh. Me thinking, because it was a video of me showing people how to calculate their macros to eat in a healthy calorie deficit, to eat more than 1,200 calories every single day, it would be a positive thing. And the assistant's messaging me with smiley faces, being all sweet. So I'm like, why would this be a negative thing? So I had said, what is this going to be about? And the topic was all about like under eating, proper nutrition. And I'm like, perfect. This is everything I talk about. This is my brand, why you shouldn't under eat. So I give them the okay. They didn't show me what specific video it was. I just knew it was on one of those videos. And so they marked me as a dangerous influencer. And I literally was sitting there like, had you have watched that video, I talked about not doing one single thing that you have marketed on this, about under eating, keto, like starving yourself. Had you have watched one of my videos, you would have seen that that was against my brand.
That is wild.
Yeah. You didn't even listen to the video.
Did you watch Dr. Phil before?
No.
You obviously don't watch him after.
No, totally not. Totally not. I had girls that were like emailing him being like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, don't bother.
It's kind of one of the benefits of like building out a really solid community too.
Yeah.
Is
they all had my back.
They all had your back.
Like, dude, what? So that was pretty crazy. Wow. But they used that because I had a large amount of following and I was an influencer. And so although they didn't say what I was saying, had they of, he would have looked like a fool. They just put me and a bunch of other influencers, which was crazy because I went to some of the others and they were preaching the same thing. Like, make sure you're eating enough, eating high protein, eating a balanced diet. And all I could think about is why? Because we have a brand?
Yeah.
Like,
well.
Yeah. Anyways, I wasn't upset about it because I was like, go watch my videos.
Yeah.
You literally just made a fool out of yourself.
Also, it's kind of like, it's like any PR, well, all PR is good PR to a certain degree, right?
I mean, I get to say I was on Dr. Phil.
You were definitely on Dr.
Phil. I was on Dr. Phil.
Honestly, he might bring you back on in the near future.
You know what?
And
that has been one of my goals. I remember saying, one day you'll have me back on your show and I'll tell you what I really do and I'll debunk you. And I'll probably roast you a little bit. So you better be careful and you better be ready.
Paging Dr. Phil.
Yes.
Wow.
Paging Dr. Phil.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, Is there anything else? I'm just trying to think through some of the things that we've discussed previously as well. Is there anything that you think people would maybe want to hear or that would be helpful to hear?
For what?
From you.
From me.
In regards to business, life, all the above.
I think that you can always compare yourself to someone else, how successful they are, how they got somewhere, how it was given to them, how somebody looks or what their life is like, but you'll never be able to compare or be like them if you're always trying to be like somebody else. Stay true to your root and stay true to your passion, because people said to me, there's so many trainers and nutritionists out there and coaches out there. How would you be any different? There's so many people that are already making music. How would it be any different? Share your passions with the world and stop setting ceilings on your life. Because I've seen a world where I have no ceilings. Where I want to do something, I do it. Even if it takes 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Stop focusing on trying to shrink yourself, because when you don't have your health, you're going to be in a very bad situation. And understand that good is for everybody, that every single person deserves happiness and good in the world. And it's not just for certain people. It's not for the lucky people. I've seen so many people be like, you're just lucky. And I've said my hard work has always outweighed luck and talent. So that is the message that I would leave with today. And I want to know what your message would be for people listening, because this is the Cameron Brown Show. So you need to hear more
for anybody who's listening, actually listen to this through the end of this.
They are listening.
Well, this is
and I know my girls are coming through. I know it. They're going to ask for a part 2.
This is part 1.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be a few others. Really appreciate people sticking with us through this first podcast, especially as we figure out and do something completely new. Yeah. The angles might not be perfect, the audio might not be perfect, right? We might not be in the perfect setup, but at the end of the day, we're
talking from the heart.
We're doing it, and we're being real. This is what it is, right?
We're doing
the dang thing.
I hope this has gotten us. Imagine we've just been talking.
I really hope it's still recording. Yeah, I really hope it's still recording. Wow, bomb drop with Dr. Phil. That was wild.
Yeah.
This
is great.
I really appreciate people listening.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Really good story.
Yeah, thanks.
But overall, I'm just really appreciate you hopping on for the first episode of the Cameron Brown Show.
Thanks for having me.
As we kind of dive deeper into your experience and everything that you've gone through to get to where you are, and just learn a little bit more from a different angle and different perspective of what it's like to go through a day in the life of Dom.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people just see the happy Dom or crying Dom. Depends on the day.
Depends on the day. You know what? Cam watches my stories. That is proof of it. Yeah. If I am not happy, I am crying over something happy that happened.
It depends on the day, right?
It really does.
But that's the authentic aspect of it, which is huge. But once again, I really appreciate people listening to this, and we got plenty more episodes coming up.
Yeah, let us know what else you want. We'll get chit-chatting.
We'll get chit-chatting. And we might have to bring you in as a guest on some of these as well in the very near future.
I would love that.
Cool.
Yeah. Or maybe I should interview you next time.
Maybe you should interview me next time.
That'd be fun.
Episode 2 would be the Dom Show.
How was the training?
You do have, hold on, real quick. You do have your own podcast.
I do.
What's your podcast called? Let's Dominate Pod?
Let's Dominate This Life.
That's the actual name of it?
That's literally the name of it.
Do you have some episodes out?
I have like 7 or 8.
On?
Spotify. And just Spotify.
Go give those a listen.
Thanks.
We might need to do another one that's just a Let's Dominate This Life show.
You should be on
I don't
on
have
mine.
to be, but hey, that'd be cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
We should do one of those.
Okay, that will be part 2,
and
the sequel.
As a conclusion, too, where can people go to learn more about you? What's your website? Drop all the handles.
Letsdominate.co. TikTok is let's_dom_innate. Nope, that's Instagram. Can we... Let's try that again.
Rewind.
Let's rewind. Okay.
I'm not cutting it.
Cam. It's fine. You guys know me. Okay. Website is letsdominate.co.
Cool.
TikTok is Lifting Queen Dom.
Got it.
Instagram is Let's Dominate.
Perfect.
Anything else? I don't have anything else. So that's it.
Well, cheers.
Cheers. This is a great episode.
And
really hope it recorded.
Have a great night.
Good night, everyone.
Peace.
This is the Cameron Brown Show. Dun, dun, dun.